Hello and welcome to an Everyday Canines video. In this episode on the Beginner's Agility series, we're looking at tunnel avoidance. So we've looked at how we can get our dog to want to go through the tunnel and have lots of value for a tunnel. But what we need now is our dog to understand they only do the tunnel when we ask them to, because otherwise what happens is our dog will just pick up tunnels all the time and we may not want them to do them and they pick them up anyway. And so we have to look at teaching them that you only do the tunnel when I ask, even though they are something that you really love doing and you probably would love to do them all the time. This is something to start including quite early on. So you don't want to do so much tunnel drive, tunnel work, tunnel value that you then have a situation where you're really struggling with the tunnel avoidance, then going into tunnel avoidance training. You want it to sort of be a balance, but of course it depends on the dog. Some dogs might be more tunnel driven than others. Some dogs are overthinkers. So you need to balance it up to see how much do I need to do to teach my dog to avoid the tunnel and not get to a situation where my dog is actually pulling off tunnels and not driving out to them. It's a balancing game. You have to judge it up. With Magpie, I did a little session with her, and interestingly enough, after doing the tunnel avoidance, she then stopped doing this tunnel. So that told me, okay, we need to be a little bit more careful and strategic about how I teach tunnel avoidance. I mustn't overdo it. I must make sure there's more going to the tunnel than off it. And this is a game you'll play throughout your dog's career. As they get more experienced, it becomes less of a problem. I think sometimes what can happen, in fact, is as they get higher up and they get more used to the fact that they'll see a tunnel but have to pull off it, they can go the reverse and they end up not going in it. But for this exercise, we're looking at a simple way of teaching our dog that just because there's a tunnel right in front of you, if I haven't said the word, you don't go in it. So what I want to do first off is remind the dog the tunnel is there. So we know the dog is going to drive into the tunnel if they see the tunnel. But I'm going to make sure I do it on a cue. So I'll set Piper up, sit, good girl. I'm going to ask her to wait. Swift, could you come out of the way, please? And I'm just going to cue her. Tunnel, 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 good girl. So I'm just revving her up to the understanding of tunnel, but you did it on the word. Okay. So now what I want to do is have her set up in the same position, but I want her to come away to me. And to make this really easy and simple, I am going to stand over here so that we'll be pulling her away from the tunnel. I'm not making it hard at this stage. And I'm going to ask her to come to this side of me so that my body slightly blocks the tunnel. So if you imagine she looks here to see this arm, it puts a barrier between the tunnel entrance and me, because if she's looking this way, that is not an option. And I'm going to be, so I'm kind of at level with the tunnel mouth or just behind it, so that it makes it really simple for her to look. Okay, and she's going to see that. Okay, can you see it? And I'm going to cue the word here. Here means come to me. Here. Good girl. It's the other end. So you see that was straightforward. Because her eye line was off the tunnel, it naturally meant she wanted to come to me. Good girl. This is the point you find out if you have a real tunnel monster, because a real tunnel monster may still choose a tunnel. So I'm going to do that again. Okay, Piper Pie, can you sit? So I'm making this really easy. I'm stood over here. Here. Good girl. So that's the easy stage. Now I just want to make sure that she's still going to do the tunnel. I don't want to have lost that. So now I've done two of those, I'm going to ask her to do a tunnel. I'm going to have to move Swift out of the way. So I'm going to be here. Tunnel, tunnel, tunnel. Good girl. No issues. So how do I make this slightly harder? Okay, well, to make it slightly harder, sit. I'm going to move further along the tunnel. So now the tunnel entrance is an option, but I'm still going to have her on this side. Here. Good girl. No issue. Because I am attracting her eye away from the tunnel, that is the key, because she's not looking at that tunnel. As she gets more experience and it gets harder levels, then we would start looking at having her looking at the tunnel and then to me. But this is the early stages. We want lots of success. So do that once more. Sit. And we're building up the difficulty. So every time we have a success, we want to build up the difficulty. Here. Good girl. Okay, and I've done several of them. They have been really successful. No biggie, I'm going to finish on a tunnel because I want the tunnel drive. So I don't want to lose that. Okay, sit. Wait, I'm going to be here. Tunnel, 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 go! Good girl. And that is your tunnel avoidance. I hope you've enjoyed this Everyday Canines video, good girl. If you have, you might subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon.